message out saying I have it for You've got enough room. You okay if I'm sitting right here? Get delayed. So get tell if it's doing it or just. I see a movement, but it's not moving. This one is a light. Like this is the light. Just your experience.
First song. I got a lot of good ones. You have to do that the whole time? No.
Okay. Ready to rock and roll, please? Great. Love from many hearts. Come inside, you don't have to hide. You're perfect as you are. You're already not alone. Welcome home. God by many names. Love from many hearts. Come inside, you don't have to hide. You're perfect as you are. You're already not alone. Welcome home. God by many names. Love from many hearts. Come inside, you don't have to hide. You're perfect as you are. You're already not alone. Welcome. You're already not alone. Welcome home. Welcome home, everybody. Good to see you. You too, Christopher. So this is a participatory song. Did I say that right?
Sure.
Participatory. So you might want to stand up for this one. So you might want to stand up for this one. So please sing along and sing to your neighbor while you're standing up. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light I see, we won't be afraid. We won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. In the sky we look upon, tumble and fall, and the mountains crumble to the sea. Well, I won't cry, I won't cry. No, I won't shed a tear. Just as long as you stand by me. Darling, darling, stand by me. 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 Won't you stand by me? Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. One more time, whenever you're in trouble. Won't you stand by me? Stand by me. 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 You guys sound great. Don't forget that.
Good morning. Technology is useful. Is it on? Because I can't hear me.
It's on.
It's on. Am I
It's
on?
all the way up.
Hello, am I on?
We hear you.
Is this going up?
Oh,
He's on.
You're on.
Wait, he's
Now we're all on.
That was Alan, not me. Okay,
Can
check.
we try that again?
That's good.
Good morning. Good morning, Centers for Spiritual Living St. George. Take a look around. Every time we come in person, there's more and more people and new people, which I love to see. So thank you. Let's give a round of applause first to Alan for our music. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Is there anybody here for the first time? Excellent. Thank you. Welcome. Can you mind standing and just introducing yourself, if you like?
Sure. My name is James, and I just moved here from Denver.
Oh, wow.
So I used to go to Mile High.
Mile High, yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
Found you guys on Facebook, and I'm looking forward to being part of the community.
Well, welcome. We're a little bit smaller than Mile High. Just a little bit. We are growing, absolutely. Who else had their hand up? I know I saw a couple. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name's Jerry Stone. I live here in St. George. I used to attend before COVID. So.
Well, welcome back. Excellent. somebody on this side? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Vanessa, and I'm visiting from California.
Oh, okay. So you're the one that passed me on the 15 on the way up here, right? So just in case I haven't introduced myself, my name is Reverend Joe Kovach, currently still living in Las Vegas, but we're all visioning me living right here, yes? Yes. Yes. So, beautiful. That's the welcome. We have a great service today, and we have something special going on today. We have a ceremony where we're going to be installing and honoring one brand new practitioner and one transferred to us. Although it was some time ago, we didn't have a minister at the time. And to me, it is very, very important to have that sacred attachment to the center that you're serving. So we're going to do that. Yes, I'm going to cut my short a little talk. My short a little talk. Yeah, talk. My pause. We're going to cut my talk short.
You
So
are.
it's still going to be power. I'm going to try. Okay, so let's stay on point here. So we're going to move into Flames Fate. You have the clicker. We're good on the clicker. I did change that from you, so we're okay, and thank you. So this time, we're going to perform what's called the Flames of Faith ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all things, all beings, come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. And you may call anything you choose. So first, we light the unity candle, which represents the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We next light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light a candle acknowledging religious science in all forms of new thought, the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principle. We light the next candle for inclusivity, affirming that all are welcome here, including those who have not yet found their faith. And now we light the healing candle and invite you to silently offer into the light the names of loved ones, knowing that they are now the perfect expression of Spirit's eternal wholeness and love. And let's just affirm this by saying together, thank you.
So we could sing this together and continue to relax and ponder. In the silence of this moment, there There's a holy presence here in the silence of this moment. Spirit whispers in my ear. In the silence of this moment, my search for hope is done. In the silence of this moment, God and I are one. In the silence of this moment, my circle friends is here. In the silence of this moment, God and I are one. God and I are one.
I invite you to close your eyes if you choose. If not, it's okay. This is an affirmative prayer coming from the heart of the one mind. So in this mind, I know that it is beautiful. And as I acknowledge this mind moving in, through, for, and as Stephanie Sterrett, I recognize this oneness, this peace, this beauty. And because I know it for myself, I know that there is no separation. There is only this love that moves in, through, around, and as each and every one of us. And so with that, I bless this service. And I bless the four corners of our being, the creative part moving through us, the inspiration that shows up, and I honor it. And our relationships to the whole. Each and every one of us has relationships. And knowing that we are one, I bless each and every one. And our abundance, may it grow and grow, for it is ever unfolding naturally, perfectly, for each and every one. And our health is strong, and it's invincible, and it is the perfect health moving through each and every one of us. And so knowing this, I release it into a law of being that says yes. It only says yes. I let it go, and I honor everything that comes from it. As I release this into the law, I know it is done. As together we say, and so it is.
In the silence of this moment, there's a holy presence near. In the silence of this moment, Spirit whispers in my ear. In the silence of this moment, my search for hope is done. In the silence of this moment, God and I are one. In the silence of this moment, my search for hope is done. In the silence of this moment. God and I are one. God and I are one. Am I still going?
Okay, first of all, my reading is going to include, let's see, I need to move this way so I can see. Okay. I just want to say one thing about Lahaina, Maui. From Aloha in our hearts. That heart is on fire, and that is a blessing for all of us to witness and to approve of. Okay? Sustainable environment management is not a discretionary commitment. Humankind weighs against other competing interests, but rather a fundamental responsibility that must be shouldered, a prerequisite for spiritual development and the individual's physical survival. That is from the Baha'i International community. Okay? That said, okay. You are the strings on my electric guitar. You are the laugh to my endless comedies. Speaking to all in entirety. You are the spark cables to ignite my heart into endless bliss. 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 You are all this and way, way more. You are what makes me keep going with my heart going pumpity, pumpity, pump, pump, pump. Pumpity, pumpity, pump, pump, pump. That's my heart. You are the masterpiece to oneness. You are me. I am you. Your bliss beyond any measure is mine. My bliss beyond any measure is yours. You are the shell shock to my endless shell shock in all the infinite good ways. You are the floor that floors me into the completest floorership. You are the wowzership to my endless wowzership. You are what awes me in all times, spaces, dimensions, multi-universes, and existence itself. You are my thunderous awestruck. You are the lightning, sweetest, dear ones. Thank you.
Wowzer. And all is well. I'm not worried about tomorrow. Today I declare freedom from yesterday's mistakes of the past. Things are brand new, and don't it feel good? No, all is well, unfolding as it should. I can change my reality by changing my mind. Perfect peace, joy, and happiness is yours and it's mine. I am loved and so are you. And don't it feel good? You know all is well and unfolding as it should. You know, all is well. All is well. Divine Spirit is directing me right now. All is well. All is well. All is well. And unfolding as it should. I am cloaked by the Spirit. I am filled by the divine. I am one of all that is. My soul is free from time. I am blessed and so are you. Hey, don't it feel good? You know all is well and unfolding as it should. Here we go. All is well. All is well. See, my spirit is directing me right now. All is well. All is well. All is well. And unfolding as it should. Let's do that one more time. All is well. All is well. See, my spirit is directing me right now. All is well. All is well. All is well. And unfolding as it should. All is well. And unfolding as it should.
Beautiful. And now, me. We're starting. So I didn't know Dr. Seuss wrote that kind of reading. That was wowza and banging and zippity-doo-dah and thumpity thump. That was awesome.
God's got to be doing something up there, right?
That was a production, and it really got me thinking. You know, the idea, we're talking about this week, passion and purpose. And you know what? We all got to do it our own darn way, don't we? So I can't stand up here and talk about what we're doing and maybe how I do it, because that's my experience. But please, my friends, you are on your own beautiful, blessed, awesome journey, right? Take whatever inspires you. If anything today, add that to your recipe of awesomeness and just live. I mean, that's the best that we can do. We're done. That's it. Let's close it up. That's the message.
Time for cake.
You always got to have cake, don't we? All right. So yes, we are going to continue talking about passion, and this week, purpose, and how we mix those two. Make sure we're all looking. Perfect. We got that part. So last week, we began talking about passion and this idea that passion, we can feel it. And it's when we're doing and being those things that we love to do and be. That was passionate right there. That was a passion, a display of passion. And that we are each divine, sacred channels of that passion, of that divine energy. And we concluded at the end of last week with a Walt Whitman poem. And I asked you for your homework to decide what will your verse be. Anybody remember that? I'm curious if anybody wants to share, if you had any shifts in beingness this week. Because I did. So I work in a school in Las Vegas. I'm a counselor. And it was the first week of school. I accept your prayers. Thank you. And so let's just say on Tuesday, I was ready to have the typical first week meltdown. And I'm walking in the hall, losing my mind slowly and going, you are a reverend. Where is the passion? Where is the purpose? What am I supposed to do? I shift to joy. And I don't know why, but being honest, it was darn hard to find a thought of joy when my mind was just so focused on the opposite. And so it's easy to kind of lose our way at times and forget what is passionate to us. And it brings us back to when we do know what verse we're going to give to ourselves to supply and serve others, it makes it so much easier to shift. And I did shift. It just took me a minute to reach that shift, right? It's vibrational, as we're going to hear. And remembering too in that, and always as we begin all things, that we, Spirit, is first cause. Now, I know that sounds so typical religious science, but isn't it foundational? We are the center of our own universe. We, that I, this embodiment of Spirit, is having a life as a human, and I get to live all that human fun stuff. And I have to be honest, and I have to be loving of myself while I'm in the midst of that. And remember, oh yeah, I can't wait for somebody else to shift me. That's my job. That's my job. And maybe I'm not sure in the moment. And then I just say, in those moments, I just ask, all right, where is love in this moment? And then because I'm looking for an answer, there it is. So we create a divine mental mold. That's in essence what we do as we're thinking and we hold our thought. We create in religious science what is known as I've said it many times, a mental equivalent. Fancy way of saying what we want to have. And that's where we get to play in the imagination, right? We start our passion there. Because it's like, what would I want to do? And then you hit that thought of, I would really like to do that. How do you know you really would like to do that? How do you know when you're tapped into something you want to do? It excites you. You get energized. You get full of spirit. You're like, ooh. And then, of course, in our imagination, as Einstein says, there's no limit. We get to play and we get to go, oh, wait, whoa, that didn't feel the way I wanted to. Let me go back and hold that and create that. So yes, as I'm speaking, we are a science-based teaching, as our name implies, religious science. And yes, we recognize that there's a direct link between what we think about, what we feel about, and what we manifest. Manifest is a fancy name for what is showing up. Okay, we don't leave it to someone else's will. Okay, even though and you have to kind of understand deeper when we talk in Islam, they talk about the will of God. You have to understand their personal relationship to God and the way they talk about the will of God, because they recognize their will and the will of God as we do, as the same. And so let's get to our first quote here by Mr. Tesla. Okay. So Nikola Tesla, of course, the great inventor, says, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. That doesn't sound very religious, does it? Unless maybe you were brought up in religious science. And so sometimes I want to add, sometimes, we have to understand, we hear these words, and what works for me is I have to find a way to make that work for me. It has to be personal. So again, as I'm speaking, for example, the word God. The word God offends. It's a trigger word for many people. So if you don't like it, if it doesn't do it for you, that's okay. There's so many amazing words you can use, like awe, like life, like the universe, like spirit, and so on. And so when we're talking about energy, frequency, vibration, maybe that's too scientific for you. It was for me in the beginning. So let's just talk about how you're feeling. Because there's different levels of feeling. There's different levels of love. I could say I love ice cream. That's far different than me saying that I love my wife or I love my career. All different energies, all different frequencies. Yet, we know that it all comes from one source. So as we focus on our passion, the intention to it multiplies, right, in magnitude, just like energy does. And as everything is energy, and quantum physics continues to do an amazing job of showing what we already know, but they show it scientifically and in detail to the smallest molecule. When we recognize that joy within and we amplify it with our feelings, then it literally changes, in quantum physics terms, an energetic wave to a particle. It literally pulls it down into form, and they've watched this happen. And the amazing part is that when they test it, in the beginning, they realized everything was going wonky and they weren't getting the same results. And in science, you should get the same results. And what they realized was their individual consciousness was affecting the experiment, thus proving that everything is connected as one. And that they know that it's everywhere. And without going deeper into science, it basically that when they tested it a particular way, it didn't matter whether it was here or there, that same idea could show up anywhere. Meaning in each of our lives, we can truly have all that we can embody, but we have to align ourselves to it. And that does include, of course, energetically. Bob Goff shares, yes. He says, a long time ago, a friend told me there's a difference between whittling and carving. One is just killing time. The other is laden with purpose. Keep carving. So the energy that we put into our passion, in essence, is intention. Right? We energize our passion with intention, which focuses it into a purpose. Because we all have passions, but many of them, if we're honest, they're unfocused. It's just we love to do things. I feel alive when I do it, but there's no real sense of being on purpose, of being part of a bigger picture. It's just what's happening to me now. But going into that mental equivalent, if we open up to it, and even if I'm not sure about my passion, but I know that this thing that I call my passion, there's more to it. I just can't, I can feel it, but I just don't know it. Oh, that's the best time. Because now you're sitting in awe, waiting for it to reveal itself. In essence, what are we doing? We're feeding that wave and just slowly pulling it down. It doesn't have to be slow. Okay? And generally, it's kind of, don't feel it, don't feel it. There it is. And now there it is. So it's also a good time to point out, it's probably a good thing right now for most of us that we don't have instant manifestation. Let's be real. Because most of us, I would say for me, I would not probably be here right now. I would have been dead a long time ago for some of the things that I tried in my life or thought I wanted to do. So again, this quote, look, and then, you know, I read this and I go from both sides. Like, well, are we belittling whittling? No, we're not. Whittling is a passion, but carving has that sense of purpose in mind. And we have choices. And we take those choices and we direct our passion into our purpose. Now, it's very easy if we're not on guard of what we're thinking. We hear this every week because we kind of, in a sense, derail that energy that's building momentum, creating the very thing, the experience that we want to have. So it's really easy to point this out. So do me a favor, close your eyes for just a brief moment, and I want just hear my words. Whatever you do, don't think of blue polka dots. Now open your eyes. Okay, it's kind of hard to ignore what's being fed to us, especially in modern day when, you know, this is never more than a foot away from me, and it's just so instant gratification, just clicking on things, even if I don't even know what I'm doing. And a lot of that will derail us if we listen to the news. And it's not wrong to listen to the news. One of my mentors said to me that always rings true is the news is a prayer request. That's what it is. It's a list of prayers that need healing. But it's very easy to get caught up in everything. And as mental scientists that we are, practitioners that we all are, that's our job. That's our work. And that should be, or well, I would say should, we don't should. But when we allow it to be, it's our joy. It's our fun. It's our creativity. From Abraham Hicks, thank you. They say, if something you want is slow to come, it can be for only one reason. You are spending more time focused upon its absence than you are about its presence. Let that sink in. I hate that one. I hate it. Because I gotta own it in the end. Where is my stuff? And I don't use that word, but it starts with S.
Shift.
Yeah, shift. Where's my shift? And raise your hand if you've ever been stuck in that loop. I know I'm worthy. I pray well. I give, and where is it? We have some more inner work to do, don't we? It's there. It's on the way. It's a wavelength. That's all it is. That's the way I look at it now. It's a wavelength. And what can I do to be the antenna for that specific experience that I want to have? And sometimes it's just to, how can I put this nicely? Shut up. Quiet. Just be. Stop trying to figure out the how, as my mentor continues to sponsor, reminds me every month, particularly when I talk to her about, I'm not here in St. George yet. Why am I not here yet? And, well, what have you been doing all month? And then she points out how I've basically been trying to figure out how to get to St. George. And she says, how about you let God do God's work? Now, God is not a being outside of us. God is a frequency that contains all frequency. So it's there. Just relax and let it know. And also that my prayer is that it's good for everyone involved, you as well as my family. So I just call it divine timing. And that gets me out of that shift, the negative loop, and shift into something positive. So the title of today's talk was Percolating Your Passion with Purpose. And that percolating, I can't say that word without that old coffee commercial coming into my mind. You're all nodding. The old coffee crisp mind.
Tell me what it's like.
Okay, well, I will share that later. For those of you that nodded, thank you. So that percolation begins as we build momentum with our thoughts. Now, Abraham Hicks has a process that they share in their first book, Ask and It Is Given, which to me is weight and beyond gold. And it's just the idea of knowing what you want. And you kind of put that at 12 o'clock. And in the set, you kind of draw a circle. Let me do it this way. Circle. 12 o'clock is what you want. In the middle is where you are, where you're starting, right? And then you start at 1 o'clock and you say, okay, now I know where I'm starting at 1 o'clock. What is the next best feeling thought that I can have about the experience that I am wanting to have? Now, if you feel any resistance whatsoever, you went too far. So it's really an experience, an experiment on intention. And it slows us down. Because if I'm really angry and I go, oh, well, I got an argument with my wife and I don't want to be there. I want to be in joy. I love my wife. I can feel that right away that I'm not in alignment with that. So where can I go? What is the next best feeling thought? And this is where we have to just be honest with ourselves. We start low and go high. It's energy, right? What happens if you try to send too much energy through a small line? It fries. There's resistance. It burns up. Well, we can feel that. That's our emotional guidance system. And we need to pay attention to that in order to more easily manifest the experiences that we want to have. Our own founder, Ernest Holmes, says, we are surrounded by an intelligent law which receives the impress of our thought and acts upon it. This is the law of our life, and we may use it consciously for a definite purpose. So as we get more and more specific, now I brought in that previous process because sometimes I'm just way too vague. I'm not even sure. I know what I want, but I kind of don't. Let's start at 1 o'clock. What's the best feeling thought that I can have about how I want to express this passion? Is there resistance? No, there's not. So then we continue on. And the word impress, when he says receives the impress, right? It's like a stamp. You're stamping it into the mind of the infinite and saying, I want that. And as science of mind students, what does the universe say when we say we want something?
Yes.
Yes. And then we go, well, I should have it. I'm good enough. I'm worthy enough. Lord knows I could have used that $1.5 billion because you know what I would have done with this? And we go on. But it's so much easier just to begin to percolate, build that energy naturally, be okay with ourselves. Right? We all know it's really easy to say, well, I should be perfect, whole, and complete because that's what I am and that's what I know. And let's start by accepting who we are, where we are. Because you know what? The universe would not be the same without us being us in our fullness. So if we want to bring it up a notch, we can ask deeper questions, such as talking about our passion, trying to move it into a deeper sense of purpose. How can this get better? Simple. The answer should be an elevation from where we were at a vibrational level. How about this one? What is a richer, deeper joy that I can experience through my passion and my purpose? So the questions that we ask ourselves are very important. They could be very limiting, or they could be open-ended and allow us again to play in that imagination. Again, I stress, which is infinite. There are thoughts that we haven't had yet that are just calling to us, pulling us to that greater, freer, fuller, expanded life that we say that we're wanting to experience. Raymond Charles Barker says, the clarity of the infinite mind is the clarity of my mind. Let me say that again. The clarity of the infinite mind is the clarity of my mind. There's an affirmation for this week, right there. Therefore, I think with ease of my accomplished goal. It is being created in my mind right now. Now, he has an idea of a sense of definite purpose right there. He understands his connection with the divine, which is he's a unique frequency within the all, and that he is open to connect to the freest, fullest, expanded life that he chooses. So all that energy that is available to us right here, right now, uniquely. We can't force it. It won't come that way. It will come through our unique skills and talents, and if we don't have it in the moment, it will be given to us. That I know, and we know for sure, because wisdom and history has shown us that. So as we allow our thoughts to percolate, they begin to show up in experience. Now, generally, when they start showing up, sometimes they're everything we expected. Often, we want to tweak it a little bit, and that's okay. It's not that God didn't know what I wanted. It's probably that guy in the mirror that probably didn't know exactly what he wanted. And that's a beautiful thing, because now we have the power and presence to do what? Shift again. Define. Change that impress on the mental mark of the mind of God. Rumi time. Are we ready for the Rumi quote of the week? Always. Then I'm done. He says, let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray. Wow. There it is. So when we're not sure, just let it draw us. It's already there. It's not really out there, although we think it is because we live in this three-dimensional world, but it's just a vibration, and we can have it. We can experience. If we don't want to attach to it, right? We don't have to make it mine. Why? Because that's a mindset of lack. That's like, if I don't get mine, I can't have it. But oh, here it is, and there it goes, and here it comes again, and there it goes, and that's what we do. We are receivers and channels of that energy of God itself. So Howard Herman, he once stated that, he says, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. How does that sound? How many people would love to wake up to a world tomorrow where everybody is living their joy and alive? Exactly, yes. Not enough hands are in the air, folks. And why do I say that? Not to point out that you weren't, but all of our minds matter too, collectively. That's how big change happens. All of our wants and desires, for example, for peace, continue to go up there. And as more people believe in the ability of peace, which more people do now than ever before in the history that we're aware of, it's more of a possibility. In my mind, we're just pulling it down closer and closer to our reality. Because we know it's here, it's a vibration, but if we don't believe it, right, we can't experience it. And the way up, I was having a thought about night vision. I was playing one of my video games and I needed night vision. And it came to my imagination, you know what? That's kind of like life. Because if we don't have the right vision, it could be right in front of us the whole time and we wouldn't see it. And then therefore, even with correct vision, what is really available to us in this moment that we could experience if we just simply chose to and allowed that passion to fuel, to percolate, and build it then into a purpose? What's the difference between a passion and a purpose? I'm going to say service. When you are living a purpose, you're feeding more than just your passion. You're becoming passionate for others. You're an example of that passion, and you put it into direct action which now affects other people. That may not be your plan, right? But we know that Spirit uses us all in its own unique way and perfect way, and our own unique, perfect way. Going back to Abraham Hicks, they say, as a suggestion, see this world as a free world and see everyone in it as trying through their individual experience to find their way back to that calling, back to that source energy. And in essence, that's kind of what we're doing through our beingness. We want to do things that make us feel alive. Not just alive, going through my day, but alive. Like I don't even want to sleep. And if I have to sleep, then I can't wait till I get up because I am alive and I get it and we're tapped in. And we all have these experiences at some point. And for a lot of us, they're just so brief, aren't they? Right? But they don't have to be. And you know what helps? When we share them with others, because that reminds them and others that it's possible. And what a joy that is to remind people that they can be alive. And to keep that thought in mind, Hafiz, another great poet like Rumi, says, every mortal will taste death, but only some will taste life. It's a choice. We can get caught up unconsciously in what's going on, and we all do. And that, I believe, is why we come to centers like this, to be spiritually fed. And you don't have to come here to do that, but it's fun to be with like-minded people, right? That allows us to share our experiences together and to amplify what we know to be true already. Can I get a yes?
Yes.
And so it is. So we're going to lead now talking about this passion and purpose with the idea of who are we, which is Centers for Spiritual Living and living a spiritual life, and therefore becoming a practitioner. And so we're going to move into our ceremony part. So right now, I'm just going to ask practitioner Sue Fulmer and practitioner Bill Smith to come up and have a seat, please. And I don't think we need this anymore, so I'm going to do that. So it is a joyful and powerful moment for a spiritual community to birth a practitioner or practitioners. It takes great commitment and dedication to become a licensed religious science practitioner. Becoming a licensed practitioner is neither an easy process nor an idle promise. The first 2 years are basically the basic coursework, which lays the foundation of their understanding. Then they enter into 2 years of professional practitioner program and that coursework. This is where they learn how to put their teachings, the teaching of science of mind, into practice in their lives as well as others, and support them, other people, to do the same. Finally, they take a comprehensive written exam, which they must pass. When they do, they move on to an oral panel exam. And they have done that. And here they are. This is a sacred moment. And through the vows to be taken, these 2 new practitioners voluntarily offer themselves in service by being a channel of spirit in the field of spiritual mind healing or affirmative prayer. Their dedication and discipline help lift humanity and consciousness above the experiences of all forms of sickness of mind, body, and affairs. Loving God and all people is the intent of each, coupled with an invincible conviction to celebrate living spirit in their own lives and in the lives of those who come to them. To a spiritual community, the blessings of having licensed practitioners means that there is a cultivated body of conscious spiritual support, which is adept at healing prayer and counsel. There has been an absolute full body yes to God within the hearts of these two, Sue and Bill, to be of service to this community, as well as a revealer of truth. Down through the ages, there have been those in whom the light of divine love has burned so brightly that they have been willing to work in selfless love and service for others. May this light of divine love shine forth in the lives and service of Sue and Bill. So a couple of just small facts. A licensed practitioner, as we just declared, because I recognize there are some new people here. A licensed practitioner is one who is dedicated to knowing the spiritual truth, that God dwells within us, as us, and is for us. A licensed practitioner is committed to the idea that the truth known inwardly must be revealed outwardly. And a practitioner knows it is through being love and using law that divine truth is revealed. They know spiritual truth for others because they have learned to know it for themselves. As a senior minister of the Center for Spiritual Living St. George, it is my honor to participate in the charge of licensing a new practitioner for this spiritual community, as well as accepting the transfer of an already licensed practitioner. I can certify that both Sue Fulmer and Bill Smith have fulfilled all requirements and obligations, preparing them to be a licensed practitioner at CSL St. George. I'm going to ask you both to stand, please. What I ask of you as a congregation is to put your attentions on them. And we have uno of those practitioners. I'm going to ask you to go on either side of them to support them, please. And I'm not missing anybody else, correct? Okay. We'll just stand right there. Not literally support. Practitioners, in accordance with the fulfillment of all requirements to become a licensed religious science practitioner, including the passing of your written exam and oral panels, I now ask you to pledge your service, loyalty, and support to the International Center for Spiritual Living, and specifically to this Center of Spiritual Living, St. George. As I ask you to pledge, please respond with, I do. Will you ever be aware of your high office and function and conduct yourself with dignity, integrity, moderation, and sincere devotion in every act and in conformity with the Code of Ethics for Religious Science Practitioners?
I do.
Do you so dedicate yourself to be constantly aware of the divine presence within all people, regardless of faith, race, or station in life, and that you will see only the perfect spiritual person, perfect in body, in mind, and spirit? Do you dedicate yourselves to knowing the presence of God in and as all things, as the oneness of all life, and respecting all paths to discovering this presence? Do you declare your loyalty to the Center of Spiritual Living St. George by supporting its purpose, vision, and mission, and promoting harmony and oneness within the community? Do you declare your service to the Center for Spiritual Living St. George as a religious science practitioner, offering prayer support, compassion, empathy, and unconditional positive regard for all of its community? Do you declare your support to CSLSG and its community by consciously giving financially, as well as sharing your strengths, talents, and abilities? And lastly, do you dedicate yourself to the discipline of daily spiritual practices, such as meditation, faithful prayer, and continued education, to hold yourself in a state of being mentally, emotionally, and spiritually prepared to meet any condition, being mindful that appearances and conditions are effects to be changed in the light of spiritual truth? Congregation, I ask you, and if you agree, please say, we do or I do. Are you willing to accept and support these two new practitioners into our center to serve our community in counsel and prayer?
I do.
And so it is.
Ow!
Yeah.
Again. All is well. All is well. Divine Spirit is directing me right now. All is well. All is well. All is well and unfolding as it should. Say that one more time. All is well. All is well. Divine Spirit is directing me right now. All is well. All is well. All is well and unfolding as it should. All is well and unfolding as it should.
So by the power vested in me, as a spiritual leader of Center for St. George, I hereby acknowledge each of you as a licensed practitioner. Congratulations. And I'd like to please hold up the stole. Just hold it up. Thank you. So in religious science, it's become a practice to present our licensed practitioners with a stole that symbolizes the sacredness of the office of licensed practitioners and the depth of their commitment to spirit. The teaching symbol for the science of mind is embroidered on both sides. As a reminder of the allness of spirit as love, law, and form. Altogether, it represents the creative process that we participate with every breath, consciously or unconsciously. Practitioners truly do know that our thoughts create our experience. When the stole is worn, you can be assured that the practitioner is in sacred service. So I now ask our two practitioners to present the stoles to our new. Welcome, practitioner Bill Smith. Woo! And again, Bill has been with us for how long now? About 2 years, but there was no senior minister to install him, so that is why we are doing that today. And brand new practitioner, Sue Fulmer. Through this act, you place yourself in a very special relationship to all people. By the means of your practice of spiritual mind healing, you have the great privilege and glorious responsibility of being an instrument through which God realigns individuals to their wholeness of mind, body, and affairs. You have voluntarily and freely assumed this sacred duty, as well as this exalted privilege, and through your consecration, all those whom you can help, will be irresistibly drawn to you, and Spirit shall heal them as you reverently and faithfully do your part. We salute the divine presence in and as you, as an instrument of divine healing. May the peace of Spirit be with you always. And so it is. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Right after I get up.
Do we get cake now?
We will not now. Cake is coming. Cake is coming. Sir, congratulations. Excellent. And now I believe back to our regularly scheduled programming. We have our announcements. Or is that our giving? Remind me. Hold on, I lost my page. Yeah, so offering first. So it is at this time we're going to pause and take in our offering. We have some music, yes. So just keep in mind as we offer up a couple things. One, there's a table back there that we ask you, if you so choose, to give your offering of financial prosperity as well as receive. So there are affirmation cards that we have for you. I believe it is an exchange of energy, so please feel free to do that. If you've already given, that's okay. Go up, put some blessings of kind thoughts into the bowl, and receive an affirmation card as well. Because everyone has something to give. And that is what continues to build this community right where we are. And I've already envisioned our own place, and I gotta tell you, it's beautiful. So I can't wait to show it to you. So we're just going to take a moment to give you time to do that. There are envelopes on your seats. And I also want to point out a couple options on the envelope. on the back side. If you need prayer, okay, you may request it on the back and hand that in at the bowl as well. Keep in mind, this is not a place to share your absolute full personal story. This is just kind of a short financial prosperity and so on. And if you would like to see or have a practitioner call you, you can request it on that. As well as if you have something, a testimonial to share how your life has positively changed through the teachings of this center, Science of Mind, please share it with us. We like to know and share that back with the community if you allow us to. Okay, we'll give you a minute here.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
So let us all just draw our attention to the giving bowl and recognize and be grateful for that infinite prosperity and abundance that we are allowed to be a part of. We recognize that the fullness of life is right here, right now, and we are part of the giving and receiving of it. We know that this giving offering not only supports the center, but supports our community as we also give to our community. And it goes on and on and on. The ripple of God's love is endless. And so it is. So it is. Thank you. And now Bill Smith with our announcements.
All right, a couple announcements today. Thank you, Reverend Joe. Oh, okay. First of all, our community care circle is alive and well. If you need some help, please call that number, 435-893-6702. If you need prayer for anything, and just to clarify, that doesn't necessarily have to be you need help or you don't know what to do, but you can also be just to share something that's exciting, something that's passionate, like what Joe talked about in your life. You can submit your prayer request to prayer@cslstgeorge.org. Practitioners check that regularly, and if you need prayer, request prayer, a practitioner or all 6 of us now, we'll pray for you. Our next in-person service, September 10th. Mark your calendar. I'm sure it'll be a good time just like this one. And all these details for these announcements can all be found in our newsletter or in the reminder that comes out weekly. Coming soon, there was a sign-up sheet going around for foundation class. And if you're interested, please find that. I believe this is here. So if you're interested in participating,
It's clipped to a silver folder.
okay, it's a different one than this.
Yeah, let me help out. There's two things. It's for the foundations class, which I want to describe in more detail in a second, but also we're putting together a quick start class. If you're brand new, you don't want to dive into a 10-week class, you can sign up. Practitioner Sue Fulmer as well will be teaching that. We're still putting it together, but we want to be able to, because when I first jumped in, that's what I did. I was like, okay, this sounds good, it feels good, but what is it really? And so it's is it 2 hours?
Yes.
2-hour quick start class. You can sign up for that. Sorry, Stephanie, but a couple things. Foundations. It's the entry, in a sense, level class. It is a 10-week class. I will have the dates coming this week for you. It's going to start in September. I'm not sure the date yet. They are 3-hour classes, and I say that in the sense of it's a commitment. Okay. But it's also one of those classes that everyone who's ever taken it will tell you it's changed their life without having to exaggerate. And the best part is for me, and always, is the 10th week is actually a presentation of projects that everybody does that shows what they got out of the class. And it is just always magical. Now, the other reason I want to stand here and tell you about that is because we're going to have, Marina, correct me wrong, 3 openings.
A minimum of 2
2 for sure.
and up to 4.
Okay, up to 4 spots on our board. And to be a board member, we've had our lovely leadership rotating because there was no one else because of COVID and everything. And we are inviting those who are interested to participate. One of the requirements is to have taken foundations. So this is an opportunity in case you were planning on or wanting to become a little more involved, really a lot more involved, in a good way, with your spiritual center. So again, we will put out either in the newsletter or a special email about the time and place and how to sign up. I will be offering, and I've decided to offer it as a love offering. It's usually about a $400 class. Now, there is a $45 fee that I cannot get around because that is what the head office, CSL, charges to keep track of all your credits, etc. The rest of it is up to you, whatever you feel it's worth. Good?
Good.
I also ask that you share this. It's going to be mostly online. What I'm trying to do is line it up so the 10th class is going to be in person. That's what I'm trying to line up. So that way we can be in person as much as we can to share our projects together. Otherwise, it will be held on Zoom. Any questions? You can see me afterwards. Sorry for the interruption.
No worries. All right, that covers foundation classes. You all met Sue Fulmer this morning, and she does a fantastic job of organizing the book club. So that will restart after taking the summer off on September 14th. If you're interested, send Sue an email to her address, suegfulmer@gmail.com, and keep an eye out for more information. Is that the last of the announcements?
Just saying there's no Zoom afterwards.
Okay, there's no Zoom, so don't sign into Zoom.
And for those that, because we're not having it, if they want to have questions, they can bring it to us next week or email.
Yeah. So just send us an email to stgeorgecsl@gmail.com or to revjoe@stlstgeorge.org. Upcoming Sundays. Next Sunday will be online. Perfectly Imperfect Passions with practitioner Eugene Holden coming to us from Pennsylvania. And on the 27th, Reverend Joe will be back with Passionately Living Your Passion Out Loud. So lots of P's this month. Okay, so percolating, passion, particularly. We've got one more announcement before we sing. And in our presence today, we have a birthday girl, my beautiful bride, Diana. We might sing a little happy birthday.
Here we go.
Anybody else?
August.
Birthday we get to sing one more time. You may stand up if you feel like it.
Stand up.
It's a new day, today it's a new life. My way, without they are no match for me. I make my faith, that's why, because I know that I am creating my own destiny. The past is gone, there's no power here. It's the mighty force and spirit's atmosphere. So I choose to grow, yes, I choose to thrive. The longing will not be denied. It's a new day, today it's a new life. My way, the doubts they are no match for me. I take my faith and fly because I know that I am creating my own destiny. Right here, right now, I think that I am whole. There is nothing else that I need to know. So I affirm my work as I'm deserving of God's goodness abounding in love. It's a new day, today it's a new life. My way, the doubts they are no match for me. I take my faith and fly because I know that I am creating my own destiny. As I believe it, so it will be.
There is cake to be served in it.
All right.